It is Kieran Trippier. It is delicious! Glorious! Glorious!
Walker in there too. Luke Shaw! Harry Kane wants it played into him. He chooses Grealish instead. It's Grealish! It's Kane! I think like this has happened for a long time. Here's the overhead kick from Dyer. Palmer finds Watkins. Watkins turns! Watkins scores!
Hello and welcome back to the Gates 102 podcast. I hope you're all doing well and thank you as always for tuning in to this episode. Always appreciated. Now, if you joined me last episode, you'll know that I spoke about the England friendly against Wales. And that was a brilliant game and it consisted of 4 debutants, an incredible overhead kick by Danny Ings and a really confident performance from what was a young and fairly inexperienced side. So please do give that one a listen if you've not already. Today's game though, we step away from friendlies, we're back into competitive action. We're at Wembley again, this time in the UEFA Nations League against Belgium. And at this point, Belgium were ranked number 1 in the world. Not that FIFA rankings are always accurate, but Belgium were ranked top of all nations, and obviously it's beaten us in the 2018 World Cup twice, so it was a big game for England. And of course, the Nations League was important. England had already played Iceland and Denmark the month before this game, and neither of those games were that good. You know, we didn't play too well. So this was an opportunity to hopefully see what England were about, and being at home as well was, I suppose, an advantage as well. So I'll start how I always start, and that's with the team. So England lined up with back 3 once again. And this was something Southgate was starting to bring back. And it was Jordan Pickford returning goal. After Nick Pope was given a game in that friendly against Wales, Pickford came straight back in for this Nations League game. The back 3 was Kyle Walker, Eric Dyer and Harry Maguire. Wing backs were Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right and Kieran Trippier on the left. Once again, Trippier being trusted in what was not his natural position. Midfield 3 was Declan Rice playing slightly deeper. He was playing alongside captain Jordan Henderson and Mason Mount playing in that sort of number 10 role. I think this is a really balanced midfield. You've got sort of Rice sort of sitting deep, protecting the defence. You've got Henderson with his leadership, getting around the pitch. And then you've got Mount slightly ahead, just buzzing around, linking play up, making things happen. So I think it was a really well-balanced midfield. And then up front, it was Marcus Rashford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Harry Kane was coming back from an injury, hence why he did not start and was sat on the bench instead. But I suppose it gave an opportunity for Calvert-Lewin and Rashford to show what they can do. And obviously Belgium had a really strong team out. It included the likes of De Bruyne, Lukaku, Tielemans. It was a really strong opposition. So this is always going to be a really tough game. So moving on to the first half. Now England actually started this game very nervy, and I suppose this wasn't a big surprise because Belgium were ranked the best team in the world, and Belgium absolutely dominated the early stages of this game, and they'd actually thought they'd scored the opening goal 10 minutes in. Carrasco had the shot that was turned into the bottom corner, but it was given offside just seconds after he found the net. And to be honest, it was probably the right decision because it was offside, but it was a very early scare from England's point of view. But 6 minutes after the goal was given offside, Belgium were given a penalty. Romelu Lukaku was brought down after a foul from Eric Dyer. It was a strange one because Dyer made the challenge. For me, it was an obvious foul, and then the referee thought nothing of it. And the referee actually started walking away. Then all of a sudden he changed his mind and gave the penalty. I mean, like I say, it was probably a foul, but it wasn't like the VAR changed his mind. It was just the referee sort of hesitated for so long and then changed his mind when after originally deciding not to. So yeah, it was a strange one, but all in all, Belgium had a great opportunity to score, and Lukaku made no mistake. He drilled it hard and low, sent Pickford the wrong way, and to be fair, it's definitely deserved, and it had been coming. I think something I do want to point out was England's left side of defence was struggling because they kept getting outdone for pace every single time. Obviously, on the right, you've got Kyle Walker, so it's not as bad, but on the left, you had Eric Dyer playing left centre-back and Kieran Trippier left wing-back. And as much as those two players were brilliant for us, neither were the fastest, so that was a big concern, really, and a big issue for England. So it just wasn't a very good start to the game at all, and I remember thinking this could be a really tough night, and we just couldn't really get hold of possession at all. But I've got to give credit where it's due. England, they dug in, they kept on trying, kept on pushing, and eventually got an opportunity to equalise. And it came from a penalty. Henderson was brought down in the box. I mean, you could say it was a bit soft, but you've got to take it, haven't you? Especially when England had not really had a sniff all game. It was a soft penalty decision, but you've got to take it. And it was the second penalty of the game, but this time for England. Now Harry Kane was obviously not playing, so it meant Marcus Rashford was the man to step up from 12 yards. Obviously his last penalty for England he scored. So this is a big moment in the game, and I suppose there was quite a lot of pressure on Rashford to score, but he dealt with that really well, and he fired it home right into the top corner. A really calm and composed finish, and England were back level. And it added to what was already a really special week for Rashford, because that same week he had been awarded an MBE for his off-the-field work feeding school children during the pandemic. So that was nice to see him get that reward, and he capped it off by scoring another goal for his country just days later. So yeah, Rashford scoring made it 1-1. And I'd say that goal sort of shifted the momentum just before half-time. Belgium had been the better team, but it was good to see England get level just before half-time. And, I mean, it could be said that we were lucky to go in at 1-1, because, to be honest, Belgium really could have scored loads more goals, but, it was a good position to be in going into half-time. But moving on to the second half then, and this is where England really grew into the game. And Belgium, surprisingly, seemed to sort of took the foot off the gas a bit. It was almost a game of two halves, really. But England started playing with a lot more confidence, playing with more intensity, forward thinking, and it was so good to see. We just needed a goal, and thankfully we got that just after the hour mark. 64 minutes on the clock came the decisive moment, and England had taken the lead against Belgium. And it was Mason Mount who got the goal, his second in an England shirt. And he decided to take the shot on just inside the box, and it took a massive deflection, and it was a big deflection. The ball just looped over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. It could even go down as an own goal, but Mason Mount will definitely claim that one, and 2-1. And yeah, you could argue it was a lucky goal, but I think the key thing was Mount was being in the right place at the right time, and he had the confidence to take the shot. And it was a big goal for him, because he had a lot of competition coming through in the role he was playing. I think a few people were a bit frustrated that Mount was playing when you had the likes of Grealish and Foden on the bench. But at this point in time, Mount was becoming an England regular and was one of Southgate's favourites. It was great to see him score what turned out to be the winning goal for England at Wembley. Again, it was just a shame there was no fans there to celebrate that winning goal. But the thing I love about this is that when England took the lead, instead of sitting deep trying to see out the game, they carried on pushing, trying to score more goals. It was really entertaining to watch, and it certainly could have been more goals. I mean, we were unlucky to only win by one goal, which is such a contrast from what I said in the first half. Harry Kane came off the bench and was really close with a header. Probably should have scored. And Marcus Rashford almost scored again. A brilliant link-up with Declan Rice. It was a brilliant move towards the end of the game. A shame it didn't go in, because if it did go in, it would be one of those England goals that you remember for a long time. But unfortunately, just did not go in. But overall, it was a joy to watch in that second half, and England played so well. And I don't know what Southgate said to them at half-time, but it certainly made a positive difference, because he didn't make any changes. He just kept as it was, and England managed to turn it around, which was brilliant. And believe it or not, it was only the second time England had beaten Belgium in a competitive fixture, the last of which came in 1990. So, not that I was alive then, but it says a lot about how hard it is to beat Belgium. The first time in 30 years. And also, that was the first time Belgium had lost a competitive game in 2 years. So it was great to see England break down some milestones and get 3 points. And as they won, it meant they were top of their group. So that was really encouraging. Obviously, they still had games left, but it was nice seeing them top after the first round of fixtures. Also got to mention Kyle Walker. This game was his 50th appearance in an England shirt. So a proud moment for him, reaching that achievement. A real stalwart, really, under Southgate, and was good for Walker, because he got sent off in his last game against Iceland before this one. And so that was a bit of a low moment, but he bounced back and played really well on his 50th against Belgium. So, yeah, great to see. But the last thing I want to say, and I think this is the biggest takeaway from this episode, England had 10% more possession than Belgium did. And I know some people will be like, we're at home, of course we should be getting more possession, but bear in mind, they were the best ranked team in the world. The team they put out was a lot better than ours, and yet we had more possession. And in my COVID episode a few weeks back, I said how Southgate was using the time he had to try and look at new ways of playing and how we could evolve as a team. And one of the things he said was to control games better. And this game's a clear indication that Southgate's sort of vision and ideas were being put to place as England dominated possession across the game against the top nation. So that was an interesting stat, I thought, and a real takeaway from this game. But overall, it was a fantastic 3 points and a great night at Wembley. Next episode, I'll be talking about the third and final game of that October camp, and that was against Denmark at Wembley. So I'll look forward to diving into that one. Not that it was a great night as England lost, but a lot happened throughout the duration of the game, so that's coming next week. Just leaves me to say, as always, thank you for listening to this episode. Always is appreciated. And until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you soon.